Morning, folks. Today's soap is brought to us by Soap Commander. Name of this one here is Refreshment, and the scent on this one here is sweet tea. Pretty straightforward, and it smells just like sweet tea. Gonna follow up with the aftershave balm. Probably just use this one off camera. I also got the still using the Taconic Preshave oil, 2 pumps. Yep, got it set up, ready to go. Got the usual suspects over here in the way of Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements Crown King Alum Block complete with rubber band this morning. And still got some of the Stirling unscented but mentholated witch hazel. Got it whipped up here, still using the Omega boar brush. That's what it looks like there on the bottom. I think the model number is 10015. That's what it looks like. I got it whipped up in a smooth bottom bowl. I can still, my nose is working well this morning. I can still smell the sweet tea. Temperature around here has been right around mid-70s, and this is November. Thinking that it's been a little warm, so thought maybe this would be appropriate for today's shave. Blade of choice is the Personna. It's just a single edge X series, and this is what the box looks like if you're kind of wondering. Shaver of the day comes to us by the way of YAQI. This one here is a single edge katana. The color on this, some may refer to this as gunmetal or black chrome, and perhaps even charcoal. And it may be kind of hard to see, but there is a Y right there at the bottom. If I remember right, let's see here, I think I wrote it down here. Yeah, weight is right around 77 grams or 2.7 ounces. It does have a little bit of weight to it. And length is like from top of the cap to the bottom, I think is like 95 millimeters or 3.7 inches for those that are interested in that sort of thing. The head is made out of zinc alloy, and the handle itself is brass. So that's where a lot of the weight comes from. Feels pretty good in the hand. I will kind of point out, I'm sure maybe the camera will, that is a plastic washer that come to me by the way of above the tie. Kind of comes with their razors with hard plastic washer. That's the way I'm going to refer to it. And then the other one that was sent in the package, what I'm going to refer to as an O-ring, because it's like a soft rubber. It's very pliable. That one didn't seem to meet the application I was needing it for. What it is that when I tighten up this handle on the post, it was rather abrupt tight. So in other words, when you go to snug it up, it's just real quick, all of a sudden you come to the full stop and it's not going to tighten anymore. Kind of left me with the impression that it might try to loosen up while I was shaving. Felt uncomfortable with it. So I thought the washer might give me the little bit of snugness where it maybe, in other words, it wouldn't loosen up all of a sudden. That's what I was concerned about. Don't know if it actually would or not. That's just the impression it left me with. So I decided to put the washer on there. And don't know if the camera will be able to pick up that blade gap right there. I know when I first put the blade in there and looking at it, it looks kind of intimidating. So we'll see how things go. I already put a hot towel to the face this morning. Go ahead and get a couple of pumps of the Preshave oil. Yes, temperature around here has been unseasonably warm and it's awfully humid right now. We're expecting some rain. I think it's tomorrow, maybe Thursday. I can't remember. Sometime this week. Last time I looked, it was like 50% chance, and yesterday it looked like it was going to rain. It clouded up like it was. And then, of course, this morning it's still looking the same way. But so far, no rain. Just high humidity, I guess you might say, and unseasonably warm for November for around here. I know some other places, you know, it's already pretty cold. Already getting that kind of weather. But at any rate, I thought sweet tea would be a good one for today. This brush is still working out well for me. I think I've only lost one bristle out of it, just one. And I think that was right out of the gate, and then after that though I haven't lost any more. And for the most part, usually Omega brushes, my experience has been with them is that it's kind of a hit miss. You'll find some brushes that do real well and don't lose hardly any bristles, and some will lose, you know, some you know, 2 or 3 occasionally. But considering that this is right around the $6 mark, $6 mark, pretty good buy. I'll have a link down below for all this. I should also mention that, man, it smells good this morning. Sweet tea. There went some lather right on the container there. That there went some more. It's gonna be a messy morning. That the I think YAQI's going to have a sale on this particular shaver in about a day or so. Like I say, I'll have a link down below, and on that, at least the way it is that I've got it set up, at least I think I've got it set up, it'll show you when it'll go on sale. And there's this one here it'll look like this, and there's another one that has a lightweight handle to it, and it's a few bucks cheaper. So if that's an interest to you. There's a little bit of a blade feel there. I was kind of figuring there might be with that blade, the way it's from the base plate, there's quite a bit of a distance there. As it goes for pressure, I would be, I guess you might say, gentle pressure starting out till you get used to the shaver. And even then, that might be the pressure you use. I had watched the inspector's video a few days ago, and he had talked about where he sustained a cut using one like this. For me, it's not, considering, I guess you might say, you have to keep in mind shaving with straight razors and shave vets and whatnot. I'm kind of accustomed to, how can you say, a blade feel. So it's not too much for me. For some other folks, it might be a bit much. It may take a little while before you get used to it. I don't think it's too terribly aggressive by any means. I've got some DEs that are just like, whoa. In other words, the blade feels a lot more than what this one is. Don't shave with those very often. Have to be in the right kind of frame of mind and mood for those kind of shaves. Because typically, when they're like that, not only are they aggressive, but they're also very efficient. In other words, about 2 passes is about all a person really would need. One in particular I'm thinking of, boy howdy, I mean, it is, that blade feels something else. So far, it feels like the head's staying put. In other words, it's not trying to loosen up on me. It also depends on how you shave, whether it's going to be much of a concern or not. Because if you're using straightforward motions and you're not doing any kind of sweeping type motions with it, it might stay put, stay tightened up, and may not have an issue with it. But from time to time, I have a tendency to try to do those kind of motions. Kind of works well for me. But that was one of my concerns. Felt like that if I put too much pressure or just enough, that it might try to loosen up on me on one of those strokes. Like I said, if you just keep it straightforward, you may not have an issue with it. May not have an issue with it at all. It just feels like that it would loosen up on you real quick. And if you didn't notice it in time, I could definitely see how you could get a cut. With that little plastic washer there. Matter of fact, I'll try to make sure I got a link. I got a link down below for a lot of this stuff. I'll try to make sure I got a link down below to above the tie for that washer. You might want it for some of your other shavers. It does help with protecting your base plate from getting scratched up from the 2 metals meeting each other. It's a pretty good idea, I thought. But as it goes for, it's not a mild shaver. I would consider it medium on the aggressiveness and maybe towards the upper end. even on the across the grain, I could still, that blade feel is pretty obvious. It's not a mild shaver though. No. After 2 passes, third pass, there's still, the against the grain pass for me will catch most of this, but a person might be able to get by with the third pass be more of a touch-up pass. So even if you were in a hurry and you just use 2 passes, you might be able to get through the day with with that kind of shave, depending on how much growth you got. Not everybody's whiskers is densely populated. So in other words, a 2-pass shave for some folks might be all they need with a shaver like this. Cut down your shave in the morning and get out the door to go to work. If you're going to work, I'm still working from home. They sent a notification out that they moved the date from January the 4th to March the 31st now, which will put it a full year, if I remember right, since I've been in the office. Once that August 31st rolls around. And I think it was before, might have been the middle, not August, but March. I think it was the middle of March is when we were last in the office, if I remember right. A little bit of feedback on the against grain pass. Should mention this morning, not that I don't notice other mornings when I use Soap Commander. Soap Commander did a good job handling the amount of water that I was throwing at it this morning, whipping up the lather. I have to say, I've never had any problems with Soap Commander's performance. This, I don't think I mentioned that this particular soap size is 3 ounce. And it depends whether it's a seasonal scent, I think, or something along those lines. Some of the products, in other words, will be 6 ounces, some will be 3 ounces. The 6 ounce variety will come in a much larger container. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty close shave right here. I don't think there's going to be much left on my face this morning. I guess you might say I have to give it high marks for being pretty efficient. In other words, if a person really wanted to go for that BBS, like I say, I think on the third pass for a number of folks, that third pass you'd be able to achieve it. I don't feel much left on my face. Just my normal routine. I mean, there's just a little bit left, but like I say, that third pass, if I really wanted to go for it, I could have had a BBS pretty easy on that third pass. This is close enough for me. My shaves, I look for smooth and comfortable, and no, I don't get all the whisker reduction, but by the end of the day, in other words, 5 o'clock, whatever it might be the end of your day, 5, 6 o'clock, even my face, you're not going to see the stubble. You might be able to feel it, but you're not going to see it. And I think that's the kind of shave I go for. I can get a whole lot closer, yes, but you risk for me, you just risk the chance of having irritation. And I'm not interested in irritation on my face, especially on the neck area. Up here on the cheeks, I do usually by the end of the day, if I notice something like that, put a little bit of aftershave balm, and it's good to go by the end of the day, if not sooner. But on the neck, though, it takes a little while longer for it to, I guess you might say, heal up and go away. My neck feels pretty good, though. In other words, I didn't irritate it, didn't push the issue, kept the pressure gentle pressure. I think that's the key with a lot of these shavers, especially if you're not accustomed to it, you're not used to it just yet, is use gentle pressure until you get used to it. That way you don't end up with a lot of skin irritation, especially if you're a daily shaver. If you're shaving every other day, it may not be quite so bad. Not that you want irritation by any means, but in other words, you have plenty of time before the next shave. But if you're a daily shaver because that's what you have to do for your job, yeah, you definitely don't want to risk the irritation. But very efficient. That, like I say, there's not much left. There's just a little bit. Nothing for me to be concerned about. Nice cooling effect, menthol. I really love it. Like I said, I'll go ahead and I'll use the aftershave balm off camera because I'm going to take a moment and work it in. I'm going to go ahead and take this apart, and I'm going to try to make sure I don't lose the... yeah, that washer did make a difference. Because when I was snugging up without the washer, how it just twist off real easy. And with that plastic washer there, it just seemed to make a world of difference on staying tight. Try not to drop it in the sink. Like I said, the O-ring was soft rubber, so when I went to tighten it up, the rubber, it just, splayed out. So didn't think that would be the thing to use. You might be able to see YAQI's got their trademark right there. Take this apart here. Yep. That's what the blade looks like on the inside. I do load it up this way. I mean, not this way, but on the cap. Usually after you shave, there's a certain amount of soap that helps it stick right into something. This is where it stuck this time. This is what, if you can see it, this is what the underside of the cap looks like. And so not only does your blade, it's got the notches for the post there, but there's going to be some notches right here, some post right here on each end of the cap, and that helps seat the blade right where it needs to be. And you don't have to worry about it wiggling. It's a pretty tight fit. The only thing you need to pay attention to is when you're putting it together to make sure that a vibration doesn't knock it loose. Past that, it was pretty easy to load. Don't have to worry about fidgeting with the blade gap or anything of the sort. Tighten it up, ready to go. Pretty nice shave this morning. Next shave, I've got another one that was sent to me by YAQI, and it's the slant, and it's a wicked looking one. So stay tuned for that one. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay safe, stay healthy, and smooth shaves to you.